All right, another rambly video for you guys. There's a lot of hubbub on the internet right now about this celebrity block list. Perhaps you've heard of it, perhaps you haven't. Please don't go digging for it. It's kind of this weird niche thing where a bunch of people have decided that they're just going to block all the celebrities, especially on Twitter, because they're celebrities. Why would we listen to their opinions? Let's just block them. We don't have to listen to their opinions. That kind of idea. I've done a post about this on my website, Theology of Blocking People on Twitter. And what it really boils down to for me, the act of, participating in Twitter isn't just kind of social media. It kind of forms to the idea that we get from Proverbs of iron sharpening iron for Christians, that you go on Twitter in order to connect with people. It is a level playing field where everyone has the microphone. It's not that Twitter is a microphone, it's that Twitter gives everyone the microphone. And you can all say something, but obviously some people are going to be louder than others. So it doesn't matter if you have a microphone, it matters how loud your microphone is. That's why you want followers. That's why people engage with their followers. That's why people reaction post, all that kind of stuff. But the idea that it's iron sharpening iron is rooted in Scripture, and it's for Christians, because what you don't want is just like an echo chamber. What you don't want is to be able to say things that never get any kind of feedback or rub or anything like that, because that doesn't actually help you as a follower of Christ. It doesn't actually help you as someone who's trying to communicate. It's almost identical to the reasons you go to the gym. You don't go to the gym to look at the weights that you can lift. You go to the gym to try and lift weights that you can't lift. And the reason you do that is, the reason you bear that burden is so that you become good at bearing burdens. And Twitter is no different. The reason why you go on Twitter and argue on Twitter and converse on Twitter is to become better at arguing and conversing. That's its role. Elon likes to talk about how Twitter is foundational to free speech, and it is. That's what it is, but that's not what it does. What Twitter does is it facilitates dialogue. It allows people to post their idea, and then to post their thought, to post their controversial statement, to post their allegiances, all that kind of stuff. And then, because of it being a social media platform, allows dialogue in the comments section. It allows back and forth. It allows you to take that offline into private messaging. It allows the dialogue. It's not just free speech as in saying stuff. It's free dialogue where you're able to talk with each other, which is why I view it as the iron sharpening iron, because that's what it is. It's like if you dialogue with people on Twitter, especially people you disagree with, in a way that doesn't kill the dialogue, well, then you have that iron sharpening iron, and you have that ability to affect each other both in good and negative ways. Now, I view it from the optimistic lens of, if I'm a knife that needs sharpening, I'm going to a place where there's some, whetstones that are going to sharpen me, which is why I follow a lot of people that a lot of people probably wouldn't follow if they were just trying to get content for them to consume. I'm not getting content that I just want to consume. I want content that I can kind of wrestle with, that I can fight with. Content that's going to do something that's going to require a reaction from me, because I don't just want to have ideas, and I don't just want to have objections. I want to have objections that I can fully flesh out. You can say that atheists are bad, but if you don't know why atheists are bad, if you don't know why atheists are wrong, if you can't articulate those things, then you're going to have a hard time anytime you have to talk with atheists about whether or not they're bad or not, or whether or not they're wrong or not. And you don't get that in the vacuum of not knowing atheists. Not that I fight with a lot of atheists online, but everything's like that in the dialogue that is Twitter. So when you have a movement like this where people are blocking celebrities, it just fundamentally underlines that people don't understand what Twitter is or what Twitter does. A celebrity is your social better. They're up here. They're celebrated for what they do. They're actors. They're beautiful people. They're influential people. They're up here. They're up here in the clouds, looking at the level playing field that is Twitter. Okay, they're up here looking at that, and they come down to remind people that they are celebrated, that they are celebrities, that they are the people that people should be listening to, and they go to a place where they can speak to do that. But what Twitter does, it is allows the same access for, a nobody with like 6 followers to post the same amount of characters as a person at the top of the social, hierarchy, like a celebrity, who also is going to post the same amount of characters. Those are not the same thing. Those are weighed differently, okay? When any celebrity, let's find a good one. Let's John Cena. John Cena's fun, like trumpets, comes out, that kind of stuff. John Cena posts something on Twitter. He has more sway because of his followers and because of his celebrity than a person who has just, a regular name with no kind of celebrity, no accomplishments, no, renown, no anything like that. Like, if someone who just got a Twitter account posts the most profound thought that comes to them, it does nothing compared to John Cena, who you may not even follow, but you might know. When he posts something, well, then it can make all these social connections because he is higher up on the social ladder than you are. Blocking John Cena does nothing. If the guy down here with 3 followers blocks John Cena, well, then he doesn't see John Cena. Who cares? John Cena doesn't care. And the reason he doesn't care is because his social influence is more than just what's being blocked on Twitter. Even if you block all the celebrities, anyone that would qualify for celebrities, you're going to take a minute fraction of the total users of Twitter out of your personal feed. And what you don't do is actually take them out of your personal feed in a way that matters. The reason I know this is because your blocking isn't permanent. You can go through your settings to see your blocked contents and view all those contents still. They know that it's just words, that you're just saying it, that you don't actually mean it because you can't actually mean it. Blocking celebrities on Twitter doesn't mean a thing because you're not actually blocking the celebrities from ever interacting with you again. What you're doing is just moving them off into a folder where if you go view that folder, you will only see blocked celebrities. You will have a concentrated version of the thing that you apparently don't want to see. This is why, you shouldn't just block people, that you have to have a discipline about blocking people, and that you have to be disciplined about where that blocked list goes right now, because it's not permanent and you still have access to it. You could block every porn site that has access to Twitter or post content on Twitter that's pornographic, and then have a curated list with that block list of all the porn sites. So it's not good outright that you block all those things. It's not a good thing to have all that thing concentrated in one spot that you have access to. Without that permanent nature of being able to block it and then it's undoable, okay, it makes no sense to block things that could be dangerous. It makes no sense to block things that you disagree with. It doesn't make sense because all you're doing is concentrating it, which is exactly the principle behind negative press being good press. It's like if you tell someone that, a celebrity sucks and they don't in fact suck to everyone, then all you're doing is giving them free press. All you're doing is giving them that kind of that extra attention. And it's amazing how many people online don't understand that, it's attention. It's an attention-based economy. And that if you say you're going to block people, you're just giving them more followers because the people who see that you block them are going to go check out to see whether or not they're worth blocking and then probably won't block if they weren't following. So it's likely to increase the number of people who will positively engage with their content and decrease the amount of people who will negatively engage their content, and you no longer have the iron sharpening iron. You no longer have that kind of grind that can happen because people like to say that arguing on the internet doesn't matter. Well, no, it doesn't matter in any one given instance, but it does matter as a whole. You could be the straw that breaks the camel's back when you connect with someone who is your social better and try to correct them on an issue or correct them on a thought or give them a perspective that they probably haven't seen because they live in social bubbles themselves. It's you could be the straw that breaks the camel's back in that regard because you're willing to engage in the iron sharpening iron. Or you could be the person who blocks them and then no one benefits from this. They don't get the benefit of, one extra person that they don't need doing the following that they need to, validate themselves. And you don't get, the benefit of being able to kind of connect and kind of really focus on those ideas and work through those ideas. So There's two kind of avenues that you can take with this that I think people need to really be aware of when they're dealing with the idea of like blocking people, especially on Twitter, but on the internet in general. One, like, unless the person is actively trying to get you to participate in sin with them in a way that you don't have the discipline or the habits or the structure or the accountability partners to deal with, you shouldn't be blocking anyone. Just because you disagree with someone online, just because that person is, of a different persuasion theologically or, philosophically or even politically, you shouldn't block that person. That's not what the internet's for. That's not what you should do. And all you're doing is kind of putting them in the box over here that you're definitely going to go back to, because that's how attention works. Specifically with adult themed stuff, blocking them actually gives you this repository that you can get a hold of all the block stuff, and it looks like you're being virtuous because you have all these porn sites blocked, but really you don't have them blocked, you have them collected. And so it's very important to know that abstaining from that stuff and putting it in a specific folder that you don't look at that's basically like the same kind of thing as looking at it, because you're giving it the attention it needs. It needs to be put aside, to be made special, to be made something that you can go to when you have complete control over it, which is a problem. Obviously, if there's harassment, you can stop the harassment by blocking, but you can also unstop the harassment by blocking. That's the kind of tension nature of the iron sharpening iron, and the problem of what happens when you get so many sinners and put them all in a medium of communication together. Okay, like, yeah, it would be nice if we all just had happy philosophical thoughts or political ideas and posted that kind of stuff, but it's an attention-based economy, so people are going to use what garners the most attention. And guess what? Sin garners a lot of attention, guys. And until we deal with that fact as a society, specifically as Christians, it's always going to be a problem. But there is a way out of this. There is a way out of this for the people who want to block celebrities and who want to have like a block function that actually means something, because right now it doesn't. Please understand that it doesn't. There is a way out of this for like the block thing. We need to make the block permanent somehow. Now that's like a tall order, because like I don't work at Twitter. None of us work at Twitter that are posting stuff online. Nobody who's doing these block lists works at Twitter or any of the other websites to do this. But even if you made it a year, if you made it so that when you block someone on Twitter, they can't see you and you can't see them for 1 year, well, then this celebrity block, this is different. Then there is a seagull. I just want to show you guys while I'm doing this. Let's see if we can do this. He flew away. What a jerk! I was showing him. Sorry, distracted. Talk about like the internet culture. Get distracted in a video like that. Anyway, if we make the block permanent, if we make it permanent even for a year, well, then it has actual power. See, a celebrity that releases like a movie a year with its, production companies, all that kind of stuff. A celebrity that releases a movie a year needs to be able to count on a certain amount of people to be able to, respond to this movie, either giving them the positive benefits of negative press, or by going to the movies, by purchasing the movie tickets, by downloading the streams, all that kind of stuff. If we boil those numbers down to something manageable that we can think about, let's say 100. A celebrity that releases a movie and only gets, 99 out of 100 people to go to that movie, you can chalk that up to, yes, that's a loss of 1%, but it's a negligible loss. It's 1% we don't need to worry about. When that 1% becomes 2, and it becomes 2 for a permanent year, because they're like, we're not dealing with that celebrity. The 2% is like, we are not watching that stuff. We're not interacting with them. We are not paying them the attention that they want. And there is no way for us to go back for it for a year. This isn't just like a fake or like a meaningless restraining order. This isn't, this is like a permanent wall. We're going to set a wall between you and me, and we are not taking that wall down for a year to see if it's, worth dealing with this person, interacting with this person, having this person in our lives to sap attention from us. If you could do that, if you could permanently remove, not just kind of like symbolically remove it so that it feeds your ego, but like secretly have it in a folder over here that you could totally go check out. That's what's currently happening. But if you could make it permanent, where it's like, I really want to have the iron versus iron, interactions with people online, but this celebrity is being inappropriate and I don't want them in my lives, I'm going to give them a 1-year timeout. And you hit block, and now you can't interact with anything they do on Twitter, and they can't interact with anything you do on Twitter. They have lost 1% of their potential movie sales. That would be paradigm altering. That would be the kind of thing that everyone who's currently making lists of celebrity blocks thinks the block is, but it's not. That would actually change behaviors because it actually stops attention. And until you come to terms with the fact that that's the kind of like juice that the internet runs on, attention, until you come to terms with that, that it's just a moot point at that point. So I'd like everyone to just try and think, especially Christians, just think about the ways they give their attention online. They give their attention in general. But as you give your attention online, if there's stuff that you disagree with, or that is sinful, or that is harmful to you, you need to stop giving it attention in your life and give your attention to better things. And right now, we don't have a mechanism, especially on Twitter, to do that. We don't have a permanent method of blocking, a permanent method of removing attention. And if we had that, the internet would actually change. So since we're talking about Twitter, I'm kind of known for this kind of like niche habit of seconding things on Twitter. Like we're at, a church business meeting, someone makes a motion and I second it. If it's a good idea on Twitter, I'll just put seconded and retweet so that people can see the good idea. And it's become kind of like the running joke of my Twitter account. So this is me putting a motion forward on YouTube of all places. But hey, I'm going to cross-post this on Twitter. This is me putting forth the motion. Let's make the block permanent. Let's make the block permanent for 1 year. So that when you block a celebrity whose lifestyle you disagree with, when you block a porn star who's posting content trying to fish people in to, to committing, lust and indecency with them online, when you block a political opponent, when you block a political, pundit, when you block anyone on Twitter, let's make the block permanent. Elon, if you could do that, we would change the internet. And I think we would change it for the better, because we would all get awakened to how the internet actually works, and a lot less people would get blocked, and a lot more people would actually start talking and start trying to communicate and resolve issues, because the option would be there to just absolve issues, to just say, nope, this isn't worth it, we're going to block. So my motion that I'm putting forward, that I'm tabling a motion, is that we make the block permanent. Hope you guys have a great long weekend. We'll see you later.